Every night I find myself alone in the studio, curtains drawn tight, my neat row of paints, palettes, and brushes in the same place on the drawer by the easel. The canvas upon it sits, as always, unfinished, Marie's half-painted face frozen in empty song. Laid out, as it always is when I awaken here. Marie is nowhere to be found. She must still be at the theater, even when the curtains fell and the stage lights dim. The night is forever young. Stars of soprano. I would always wait outside her dressing room, rose in hand, scores of other bright-eyed admirers spilling through the halls, though she alone was mine, and I was hers. It's cold, bitterly cold tonight, but still I draw the curtains and open the windows wide. There's a stench in the room, deep, damp, sickly sweet, that I can't ever seem to get rid of. Besides that, the fumes from the linseed oil makes my head spin. Like every night, I measure out my paints, arranging the small dabs of colors on my palette from the lightest to the darkest. Titanium white, cadmium yellow, to corpse brown and lamp black. I wet my brush with oil and gently start mixing the pigments. Feels a little bit like magic, watching them swirl and mix, forming new colors from old. I blend a dark, deep red and apply it with generous dabs of oil to paint patch a background and blends with the Marie's hair. I didn't have to. The paint is still wet from last night and the night before. I must have painted and repainted the same background countless times. To say it's difficult to paint a lamplight, my muse nowhere in sight, is an understatement, of course. But lately, these night hours are the only time I find myself able to lift my brush. I stop every few strokes. Spirits, it hurts. I had joked that the pain that forced me away from the tailor shop meant I could finally return to my paintings, at the very least. I was never any good at humor. Marie had sensed my worries, consoled me sweetly, in her voice that could only charm stone to life. Oh, Sam, don't worry. I have roles lined up for months. Go ahead and paint. We can still live comfortably. It hurts. Small part of it did. Beyond the physical, beyond the elements, to seek her permission. To be able to care for my darling the way I had when we were young. For me with the talent, but crushingly unknown. Well, she had been. I was, and I still am, nothing. But perhaps, finally, it would now be my turn to bring my vision to the world. Only it didn't hurt so damn much. Time passes and I still don't manage more than a few strokes. Small patch of dark over an already wet canvas. Or perhaps time hasn't passed at all. The broken clock on the wall would suggest as much. Perhaps the second had lain still, the world outside unchanging, and I, the only thing that moves. Have I moved? I shiver and sigh. Perhaps sleep would be a better endeavor. Perhaps the next night will meet more success. stand, setting aside my paints and pellets, and slowly move to shut the window. I stop. There, out in front of the garden, barely lit by a street lamp, stands a figure that can only be Marie. She bids goodbye to another figure, tall and broad shoulders, and then she laughs. A beautiful laugh, a heartfelt laugh, and embraces him before he makes his reluctant exit on a carriage stopped by the gate. For a moment, I don't know what to think. A friend? A co-star? Perhaps admirable tenor, she mentioned every now and then. I didn't see his face, but Marie's social circle has always eclipsed my own. It must be. But why would he come to our home? Why would she laugh that way? In the garden, in the midst of walking to the front door, humming to herself, Marie suddenly looks up. For a moment, her eyes go wide, and she blinks as if shaking herself from a daze. I instinctively step back from the window. Perhaps it's guilt that makes me do so. Marie is finally home, and oh, I've missed her so. How could the first thing I think upon seeing my darling be the worst thoughts my mind could conjure? For the first time in many, many nights, I feel just well enough to leave the studio. I'll prepare Marie a pot of her favorite chamomile tea. I'll listen as she tells me of her nights. The theater, the thousand small it never runs out. And maybe, just maybe ask her again to sit for the portrait for me, like she used to. The house feels larger than it used to. Perhaps I was shut in the studio too long. Still, how could I so quickly become a stranger to my own home? The memories are fuzzy, the years blur together like a wash of oil colors. My mother and I, carrying our sparse luggage, stepping inside for the first time. My stepfather, laughing, his elbows on the breakfast table, chattering over something he'd read in the paper. Then, silent hallways and empty rooms. And then, myself, welcoming my new bride to these solitary halls, hanging our newly taken portraits above the mantel. The walls are barren now. I feel the walls in the dark, leaving sticky trails of paint behind, tracing the places where I used to hang. The walls are laid bare. The pictures that hung on the pale wallpaper are gone. Blurry gray photographs of my parents, myself as a boy, and Marie. Oh, so many pictures of Marie, each displayed in a filigree frame. Gone. The pale wallpaper stands bare, stripped to its bone. Confused, but with nowhere else to go, I continue through the house. As I walk, I pass the furniture my stepfather left me, the shelves and tables that have always seemed so large and grand as a boy, now missing or mantled in the thick white linen. They reminded me of corpse on the hospital table, lying dead, still covered in sheets. Marie? I try to call out, but phlegm blocks my throat. I cough, long and drawn and wet, and then once more attempt to voice her name. Marie? It slicks off my tongue like a serpent uncoiling. I'd always loved her name, so tender and sweet, free of harsh syllables. Marie. It was a name like an impressionist flower, painted in soft strokes with a fine oil brush. It was the greatest joy in the world to join my name to hers. Silence filled the halls, a long drawn out silence. I held breath. Finally, my darling answers. Sam? Is this a dream? I cough again, long wet trail dripping from my lips. Is it a good dream, darling? I don't know. Feels like a nightmare. An awful, wretched nightmare. I limp towards the sound of her voice, so musical, so lovely, even at the brink of tears. Don't cry, darling. I want to say, but thick, syrupy liquid fills my throat. No matter what troubles you, I'm here. She stands at the edge of the staircase, shaking, a candlestick in hand. The steps are sticky and wet. I inch carefully, practically at a crawl, not to slip. My darling lifts the candle as I approach. In the dark of the house, its flickering flame almost blinds me. I don't see the expression on her face as she screams. Marie? Where are you, my darling? Every word feels like a dagger punching my throat. I limp down each hall, leaving the trail steps that feel damp and heavy, slick and wet. I try the door to our bedroom. No, Marie's room. I started sleeping in the spare room when my coughing fits would wake her in the night. It was cold, so cold, alone, but my darling needed her rest. The knob is slick and hard to twist, my hand slipping on the brass. Finally, I managed to push the door open. Though it's completely dark when I peered inside, I know it is empty. No warmth, no flesh, no sound of sweet breath within. I continue down the hall. I trudge, my steps heavy and wet, trying not to slip over the thick, slick surface. Marie? What's wrong, darling? Please come out. I don't understand. The dining room is empty, truly empty. The shelves where the china and silverware were once neatly stacked now gape, hollow. The walnut table is covered in a thick white sheet, the matching set of chairs removed. I rest against the blanketed table. My hand leaves a ruddy smear against the sheet. Must be more paint, though it's hard to make out in the dark. I needed spectacles for quite some time, but Marie never liked the bookish type. I continued on through the familiar yet unfamiliar house. My steps strained and slow, my breath short, sticky, wet. Marie, where are you? Oh, Marie, it hurts. Won't you come to me? I hear the front door slam shut. It must be freezing cold out. Why has she gone to the garden? I tread to the sound with new urgency, uncaring of the sticky wet floors, forgetting for just a moment the pain that snaps and burns through my flesh. reach for the oily, damp knob. Don't, Sam, please. Her voice rings from behind the door. I don't understand, darling, but have I done something to upset you? Her sobs echo loudly. I never thought an ugly sound could come from my darling's lips, but her words. I love you, Sam. I always will. But I can't bear to see you like this. Please, I beg of you, return to where you came. You can't be here. I've moved on now. What? Return? Where? Dearest, you aren't making any sense. Moved on? I'm your husband, Marie. What on earth is there to move on from? Please remember, Sam. You were ill. You were ill for a long, long time. You never recovered. I know that I am unwell, Marie, but you said we would still... Are you leaving me because I can't care for you anymore? Is that why? You left me. You're dead, Sam. You've been dead for more than a year. If this is a joke, darling, it's a cruel one. Do you want me dead? Is that it? Am I better off dead to you? My darling does nothing but sob behind the doors. How quickly I regret my words. Oh, if only I could see her face, look into her eyes, reassure her and see that she loves me still. Twist the knob with slick, oily hands. No, don't come out, please. On the other end, with a sharp gasp, my darling grabs the knob closed, pushing the weight of her small frame against the weathered wood. Don't come out. No, not until you tell me what's going on. Are you leaving me, darling, after everything? I need you. I need you. My darling utters a sharp cry as the hinges groan against the frame, loosening her grips as she stumbles back into the cobblestone path. I instantly forget her sharp words as I limp towards her side. Marie, are you all right? I'm so sorry. Stop it, Sam. I'll keep you alive. Every time I sing, I'll sing for you. I'll keep you in my song, in my art. But it hurts. Her shrill voice grates against the ooze spilling from my ears. It hurts. It hurts. My head rings. My chest is hollow, cavity, slippery and wet, glowing with hot, thickly fluid. I cough and spew more syrupy, warm liquid from my lips. Your art? It was always about you? Your fame, your voice, your needs, your wants, your desires. You're a work of art, of course. But did you ever think about me? Did you ever think about poor Sam dying alone in the cold white room? Poor Sam who couldn't even hold a brush in his hand at the end? Poor Sam left to rot into nothing. A year was all it took to forget me. I'm shaking her, leaving smears of dark, muddy paint all over her pale shoulders. The next moment she breaks from me, running blindly into the street. carriage doesn't stop for her. Of course, it doesn't. My tears as a wisp of dark circles of black gown bellowing in the night like a shade. She should be light of breath, soft as mist. The song that comes is the screaming of her breaking bones and ripping flesh, the breath that leaves her lungs. But every sound my darling make is beautiful. I scoop her massive flesh, deep crimson hair in my arms. Her blood pools around me, syrupy and dark. A color so deep no artist's pigment could hope to capture. The purest scarlet, vermilion, red, and dull stain in comparison. Not Sam that I see staring back into the deep pool of our blood. My darling is a lovely creature, even broken. I gently carry her up the steps, one slick, damp, crooked step at a time, setting her massive, jeweled bones and viscera of flesh on the velvet seat in my studio. The fabric soaks its deep, so very deep. It's dark, and it is every night. I leave the lamps unlit, the window shut tight. It's strange that the stench of linseed oil never bothered me. After all, I no longer breathe. My darling sits still, ever so still, not a breath escaping her broken flesh. What a lovely model. Oh, what a wonderful thing. All that more beautiful now, as it surely hurts to sing. Oh, it is agony to hold a brush, as it always is. But I can bear it. After all, I can truly create without pain. I let go of the door, my hands slicking off the oily surface. Forgive me, Marie. I can see you don't wish to speak to me right now. But whenever you do, whatever it's about, I'll be waiting in my studio. I leave the door. I leave my darling alone, sobbing in the garden. It's dark, so very dark, but dawn will soon paint the dim black sky. I retrace my slick, wet footsteps through the hall, up to the staircase, one trudging, damp step at a time. Spirits, it hurts, it burns. I feel no breath in my lungs. My chest could be hollow cavity, slippery and wet, spilling with hot, sticky fluid. It hurts. Oh, it hurts. I stagger into a tall, sheet-covered object, the linen sliding off with the grasp of my clumsy, slick fingers. It's Maria's floor-length mirror. Oh no. No, 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 no. I'm in the studio. The dark, dim studio as empty as every night. The curtains are shut. The lamps are unlit. My palette is a mess of murky colors, rust red, corpse brown, messy, stickly, sweetly rotten stench fills the room. I don't know why the smell of linseed oil ever bothered me. After all, I no longer breathe. The handle of the door turns behind me. Slowly, it creaks open, and a figure steps inside. It's me. He limps more, then he steps in, quick motions against the floor, dragging his body along like a wet, wide brush. As it washes a red pool at its feet, I watch him pull himself before the canvas. Samuel? He speaks in my mother's voice. A pitched cry commands independency, derision and affection, pride and disappointment. Give up your suffering. Give up this. Come into earth with me. My hands are too slick to hold my brush. I stab it into my flesh and fix it between my bones, then dip the bristles into this blood. Sammy? He speaks in my stepfather's voice, wistful, choking back tears. Same cadence, his goodbye, as he hugged me against his uniform. The dog tags cold around his neck. Don't suffer anymore, Sam. Forget your pain. You are nothing already. Come into the void with us. My brush is drying. I plunge it into his chest, wet with his oily breath. Sam. He speaks with my voice, hoarse and raspy and tired. So very, very tired. This won't make you worthy of love, not the world's, not Marie's, not your friends or peers or critics. Come back to our grave, end our suffering. You know, I don't do this for love. I clean my brush with my paint thinner, knocking over the jar as it spills across the drawer onto the wet, silken floor. Dry the bristles on the warm, rotting shirt and soak it in the thick, white mucus of its tears. My words are only partially true, just as his words are not fully wrong. Neither my rotting corpse nor the memory of what was once Sam will gain a thing from this toil. I paint the hours away with perhaps take no time at all. The clock on the wall never turns, its hand suggesting that the world lies still. The seconds never pass, and I am the only thing that moves within it. Oh, it hurts. Hurts. Heavy syrupy tears flood my vision, fill my throat, my chest, choking me. Every movement of my hands, leaving cracks in it, left of my brittle bones. He stares at me, all silent, still, like a mirror. If I loved him, I would stop. I would crawl to my grave like he wishes. But I love this more than I love myself. I birth them from within me. As I create, so I too am I born. And he and I are beautiful.